Serious Competition, the musical.
The game began with 3,500 potent chips for each man. House chips do come in two sizes, small, large. The one who was winning, it was victim. For last hand, defendant plays with all chips on table, and lose.
You lose! Good day, sir!
Moment class was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and...
Smack.
It's like Russian Indian.
Indeed. Looking at this picture,
You can teach us stereotyping.
it does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life.
And death.
Failure
Must be a bitter pill to swallow.
That's a nice way to put it, not bad.
How many times have I heard these words? I tell you the fits of honor, Your Honor. Been angry, Your Honor. Whoops. Come tell the truth, whatever it is I just said.
He thinks that the judge watches too many old court
Thinks
movies.
tisn't like a weasel.
Mr. Red said he hasn't lost in 7
He
years.
thinks the
This
bitch
testimony
got
must be
protested.
wrong. Quite you. Don't interrupt my thinking.
Cock.
Are those the usual starting points? Were any special rules used? No, not special. Usual game. Usual rules.
If each man began with 35,000 chips, or 3,500 chips, then the total would be, exactly 7,000 points.
Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division.
Bill Red.
Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Of course. Huh? Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press hard?
Well, I mean, it's fish and chips.
Yes, that would be the obvious pun. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips, if that's your real name. Explain? What is there to be explained?
Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. Not a chip off the old block. Not a motorcycle cop. Not a...
Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, I better ask something. What are these chips worth?
You do anal?
Are they in dollars? Rubles? Yet, as I've been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Two types of chip. 100-point chip, 1,000-point chip. It is not money,
Justice,
Sir!
don't you find her comment interesting?
More ways than one, sir.
I'd have it added to her testimony myself.
Why, we're such a lazy slob.
Well, does the defense want the witness to add this to her testimony?
Can't think of why not. Yes, I do think this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony! I wish I knew where I was going with this.
Yeah, well.
Very well, witness. If you would be so kind.
Your Honor. Was I supposed to read that?
No.
Apparently so.
Mr. Gavin said this testimony is important.
Well, it is.
To be honest, I have no idea why.
Mr. Justice, do the court a favor and think of what you want to say before raising your hand. We are not in kindergarten.
We're in court.
Sorry, I'm fine.
We're all fine here.
I better think of something to ask.
How are you?
And quick. The two types of chip. What do they taste like? The small ones are 100 and the big ones are 1,000, right? Right, of course.
Ha! Don't waste our time.
Is that all?
Yeah. Great. Mr. Gavin made me stop her. Now I'm the one who looks dumb.
Oh, Justice. Please try not to embarrass me like that.
Huh? Me?
There's a clear contradiction in the information that you have in your hands.
What?
It's a simple matter of calculation. Go on, try it. We're not in kindergarten, after all.
Calculation.
was red. Present. Laser dodging. Yeah, if you add them up, they're not quite the same, isn't it?
You got me a present? You're sure it was the victim who won?
You're sure you're not doppelgangers?
It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at the picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten...
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court?
Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course. Duh!
Oh, I thought so too. Then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Yeah, the breakfast cereal?
Right. Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips, and the combined value of the chips was 7,000 points.
Yes, if my calculations are correct. Let's see. 3 plus 1, carry 5.
They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. If the big chips are worth 1,000 points, and the small chips are worth 100, and you add them up,
You get a new number!
How much is it?
do it yourself. You're not in kindergarten, are you? 10,600 points. The chips don't add up.
Unless...
This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony.
Background.
But why?
How could this be? Exactly, Justice. Now that you have the what, you must determine the why.
Right, there's only one possible way to explain this contradiction.
They were both right. They're just, yeah.
Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer.
Well, what is it?
The value of the chips was the other way around.
I have a smile on my face.
What?
Want to know what I think?
No.
The small chips were worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Spoon!
Madness! Under menace! Show me that photograph of the chips again! There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up.
Well, fuck me, silly.
Excellent work, Justice. So much as though you figured it out by
We've
yourself.
played this game before.
Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But wait! The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing! Indeed. The victim did have the larger number of chips still. No!
Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points, and the large chips are 100... Let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table.
The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points. And the victim had 4,100 points.
Well, now. It seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
I'm gonna keep that mic closer.
Monkey.
That's impossible!
Even for a computer.
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. Had any reason to anyway. After all, he was winning!
Yarg!
Now, Mrs. Orley,
Oh, really?
you must have known the true value of the chips.
Yeah, really.
Since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you?
Animatution.
Order! Order! It appears the defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. Well, we must now ask ourselves is... Excuse me? What is Miss Orley?
I did not want to be saying this, but... Actually, you see,
See what, Miss Orley? What do we see?
What does the eye command? In the last hand, there was cheat!